Okay, as promised, here's the 12 signs in the solar eclipse, and this is part two, the more individualized. All 12 signs exist within us. So let's start with Libra because we're in Libra season. And, all eyes are on you. And, so smile and keep your iron fist of judgment under your velvet glove. This is just speaking to the ego soul balance, the equilibrium between how you project yourself outwardly, Libra, but how do you say the inner no to what it is that you don't want to do? And sometimes you have to say no. It is a complete sentence after all. And with Mars in Cancer, one of your most challenging signs, you could have people acting what you consider to be irrationally or beyond rational thought, but they may be reacting to, your rigidity, your inability to reach into how you can influence the relationship. Wherever the two are gathered, I am there too. So that's the Christ talking about 1 plus 1 equals 3, the third entity of the relationship. And after we build upon the intellectual, energetic influence of Libra's values and ideals, we move to Scorpio, which is all about conflict internally first. And since we're in the season before Scorpio, all Scorpio, rising, moon, suns are going through a review of the last 11 months. So honor your retreat. Really look at the fact that with Mars being in Cancer, the sign that guards your ethics and your broader picture, you may be ready to defend your philosophies, but sometimes silence is best, or a Cheshire cat grin. Then Sagittarius, that adaptable fire sign in between the Thanksgiving and Hanukkah, Christmas, and all of that. There is a Jupiter, energy, a wish list. So there is an aspect with Jupiter being in your complementary sign of Gemini, you can feel really far away from being able to set your intentions and recognize these larger visions that you like to act on. So this eclipse being in your 11th house of how do you make the world a better place, it may be you fulfill other people's wishes first or collective larger intentional wish that you align to instead of you first. And with your adaptability, you might be able to way to juggle yours, mine, ours, all of that together. Capricorn, that realistic, mother, necessity is the motherhood of invention sign of the beginning of winter. Yes, you can overthink things, and Libra is one of your more challenging signs. And if you can just remember that their sincerity, Librans, the sincerity of this season is not to call you out as a cynic, but to at least move that acidic, cynical energy into the realm of the skeptic and idealist, where you investigate the possibilities that are brought to you instead of just saying no or becoming defensive or doing the RBF, resting bitch face, or the resting bastard face. Let's not get it caught up in that it's only women that have that kind of stern look. It's just that we don't call men out upon it as much, right? So Capricorn being the sign of how we protect gender and gender laws, Genders, gender, then not ginger, then it's important that you be a leader or at least the center of more progressive thought and discouraging disharmony while not denying what caused the imbalance or the unbalance in the first place. Then we come to middle of the season of winter, Aquarius. Now Libra's air, Aquarius is air, and so is Gemini. So you kind of feel like you're in your element, Aquarius, and you do want to see the big picture. But remember, this is a solar eclipse. So your ability to radiate this transpersonal impartiality may be blocked. So you may find yourself uncharacteristically feeling reactional, and how you like to compartmentalize a lot of times between your thoughts and feelings. But remember, Aquarius, when you're in your zone, there's an angelic, there's a part of you that really does buy into and live from your predecessor, Abraham Lincoln, Aquarius, who coined the phrase in one of those addresses, the better angels of our nature. So these wings of change or transformation, Aquarius, this solar eclipse is lending itself to that, where you can be an agent of calling what needs to be called out idealistically in the moment, not going toward the future, but saying what can be, how we can change our thoughts, change our energy in moment to moment. Then we have beautiful flowing Pisces. Oh God, and I was listening to Green Aphrodisiac by Pisces, Corinne Bailey Ray. That video is just beyond, right? I mean, you talk about the eroticism and the beauty. Well, anyway, you have a feeling for beauty. And Libra being a corresponding Venus ruled sign like yours, yeah, you're traditionally ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, but Venus lends, from her Aphrodite seaborn, and come on, Pisces, that shape-shifting energy you have. Who loves you, baby? Well, Libra may not appear to because they use their intellect sometimes on one side of the scale to disassociate or separate you from this idyllic wholeness, utopian feelings that you like to operate from. So trust that the Libra may separate, but just like all rivers come back to the ocean, so does this season. So just pause, resist the temptation to react. And remember, solar eclipse allows the lunar past to come up. But in your case, you get to adapt and see new meaning in maybe some painful experiences. And one of my contemplations today talked about that only our egos can really experience loss. Feel that. That loss is an outer manifestation. But as we connect from the perspective of our rooted souls, then we can see the lessons in loss and recognize that it's that silver lining uh, energy that we can see. Now, the beautiful thing or the connection between Omega Pisces, the last sign, and the first sign, Alpha Aries, is the virtue of innocence. Whereas Pisces is here to forgive after betrayed, to being betrayed, going back to their innocence. Aries jumps out with a sincere action and alignment that they're innocent and asking for forgiveness instead of permission. And in our raw material, Aries goes to the pillar of mentors or tormentors, which our parents are certainly a part of that. So Aries may sometimes react frustratedly or angrily from things that were conditioned behaviors. But the more that you love or give space for your own inner truth, the less you will react to Aries, the less you will maybe carry resentment from the Aries, deemingly their sincere, playful, childlike free spiritedness, and you don't allow their fiery initial reaction to something to become a way in which you may decide that you um, don't want to be around them anymore. And this eclipse is helping you to see where you may have in the past acted just like Aries in one of everyone's ability of their favorite sport, jumping to conclusions. Earthy move at their own speed, Taurus, your Venus ruled sign like Libra, but your Venus energy is pragmatic, it's earthy. You want to embody the value, sort of like a warrior or a competitor showing up to run the marathon, the track relay, so to speak. And so this multidimensionality that I speak to in what I wrote is a lot about your recognition that next year, as we get to next spring, you're in this bridging of seeing all of the stuff, all of the relationships, all of what you've acquired and consolidated, and saying, okay, how can I end thinking poor? How can I stop poverty consciousness or feeling like all of what I have is going to somehow be taken, overly taxed, or whatever, and stay in the moment and realize that Venus is the more that you recognize the beauty of the goddess of love and having gratitude that creates joy, Like attracts like, Taurus, and it's gonna just keep coming to you because our cosmos does not operate in binary and it does not operate from lack. It's our egos that see that. Gemini. Oh, in popular astrology, they've talked about your year since Memorial Day being your best year. And then they're speaking to material leaning, expansiveness leaning Jupiter in your sign until May of 2025. Nothing wrong with that, but you can easily miss that Jupiter's expansiveness, if handled poorly, can easily become I deserve this or I'm entitled to this or doesn't everybody kind of energy. And I don't know if we're doing cancel culture anymore, but I know individually we can cancel people's energies when we use these eclipses. Like sometimes I've heard had it on good authority that adult autism, sometimes we're leaning into that as an excuse for bad or poor behaviors. Well, Jupiter is where we run and we illuminate the spirit of the law, the spirit of the rules. And so there is a benefit of the doubt. And this eclipse season in Libra and Aries is quintessentially perfect, whole, and complete for Jupiter ruled peoples, the Sagittarius and the Pisces, and anybody who wants to see things from a broader perspective to be able to give compassionately, right? Cancer. Oh, lunar and solar eclipses can really try your what I call your reserve nerve. And Libra is one of your more challenging signs, along with Aries and Capricorn, because you all want to control or initiate things from the different elemental energies that you have. And this solar eclipse is challenging to you because it requires that you pause. And as one of my Cancer moon cohort says, to screw back on or to attach that executive frontal lobe and to just to feel the difference, the I feel key phrase of Cancer, to feel the difference between your personal preference and your personal tribal past and your family of origin differently, or to give equal voice to, equivocate maybe, give equal voice to, that Libra is really initiating to do in this season and this eclipse, to your personal truths and the other person's truth. And it doesn't mean that you have to withdraw in a huff, but you can just breathe and know that you're protected. Leo! God, this is one of your favorite signs. It's Libra. Because Libra tends to give you a lot of space, sort of like being in a forest, where they just clear it for you to become mindful and heart centered. And you can feel that you're the center of your universe as it differentiates from the center of everybody else's, or being the center of the universe. And we know it's multiple dimensions and multiverses, as much as we can conceptualize. But the more that you really listen with your heart, Leo, along with the preceding sign, the following sign of Virgo, although Cancer preceding, you got a lot of heart energy going on too. The Leo part of you in this eclipse is allowing your past to come up. And just like you may watch some of your favorite Marvel comic movies or your documentaries or whatever you rewatch, reread, this may be a time that you do that so you can look at it in this moment and not get attached to the past or what your daddy thought or what your mama thought or what your family thought or whatever. You know, I kind of feel like Gilda Radner, it just goes to show you it's always something. Well, yeah, when we're looking at life as a mysterious evolutionary journey, it's always something. And if you don't know Gilda Radner and Rosanna Dana, put that in for Saturday Night Live in the 70s. Funny AF, right? And Jane Curtin playing the straight woman. Bravissimo. Uh, Virgo, last but not least, because you are the 12th sign. You just had your birthday season, and now we're in the eclipse, Aries, Libra. So you're looking at my resources, my values, what matters, how I can analyze that and use them precisely and efficiently, while at the same time knowing what you want to give freely, then that way you can receive freely. And it can be this beautiful yoga or this union between negotiating with your ego what's in your best interest, what you're willing to offer, and what the other parties are willing to offer. All I got to say, Virgo, is use this beautiful movement of Jupiter through Gemini, which represents your 10th area of resources, to ask, to integrate, to get in kind services, and realize what I said earlier. Think in Scorpio, one of the signs, that loss is an ego function. Failure is an ego function. Success is an ego function. But from the soul, from our evolutionary, mysterious awarenesses, no such thing. And if you want more information or more wisdom, realize you can access that within, pausing and breathing and drinking water, a la, and physical movement, a la our material. Or you can just, reach out. You can do both. And this is Quan out. And we're moving along a trajectory of the beginnings, the seeding of the Aquarius age, which means we all become individual participants in our collective good, our not good, but collective movement and evolutionary energy. And we want to use more Christian language. The community becomes the savior, and we're all equal members of the community.